Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel where we cover all things crypto and crypto mining. So today's video is going to be about all this Nvidia stuff that's going on right now. I'm sure we've seen some of the headlines about that melting pin connector. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, possible fix for it, possible of it. We're going to touch into the 4090 prices. Those prices have been going down, so we're going to touch on that. And these eBay scammers are back. So I'm going to give you a little heads up on that and what's going on with that. All right, so let's get started. So the article today is from videocards.com. So the title is First Users Report NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs with 16-pin power connectors. So I'm going to sum it up real quick. So far, there's been two cases. One is a Gigabyte card, one is an Asus card. The common denominator is that it looks like it is that 16-pin connector. We don't have a whole lot of info. Like, we don't know what kind of power supplies they were using, if they had every connector plugged in. I know initially there was some people trying to use like dummy connectors so they didn't have to put in the 3 or 4 slots in there to get it to work. We don't know if it's anything like that. We don't know if it has anything to do whether or not they were using an ATX 3.0 or a 2.0 power supply. Still not a whole lot of info. Like, we don't really know a whole lot. We do know that NVIDIA is in contact with at least one of them. I don't know if he got in contact with the second one. I'm sure they are by now. So they're going to shut down any info from coming out. They're going to communicate directly with them, and it'll go from there. But again, not a whole lot of info. I'm sure in the coming days, though, we're going to see a lot of these hardware YouTube guys start breaking it down, trying to see if they could find an issue. I'm sure we're going to see like a Gamers Nexus video in the next coming days here. Hopefully we'll find out info soon, right? Especially for those of you who purchased it already. It's a little worrying. The only thing that they've been able to cite so far is that they think it could have something to do with there might have been too much bend in the cord, like right at that connector point. There is a thing in one of the manuals, I believe, saying to not bend it too close to the connector as it can cause issues. And that could have something to do with it just because the cable is so thick and the card itself is so big. So I could see an issue with people trying to like neatly tuck in that card or trying to like forcefully fit in that card to get it in the case. Could be something like that. Again, it's just speculation. We don't really know yet. These are the two pictures that have been posted up of the melted connectors there, so we could see those. Again, this was found from a post on Reddit. There's a lot more info on there. It's on the Nvidia subreddit. I'm sure you'll find it easily. It's one of the biggest topics going on right now. Was Googling a little bit just to see if I could find any information on it. I did find an article back in October from PC Mag stating how there was a lot of concerns that were being risen about this connector. And it does make sense, man, having all these like power connectors consolidated into that one slot. A lot of people were worried about it. This article was kind of like pushing back on it to not worry about it and giving their justifications for it, testing that they did. More of a technical breakdown. I'm not really going to go over it. If you guys are interested, I'll probably put it in the description there so you guys can check it out. It is pretty interesting. It's informative, but they did do some testing. They weren't concerned about it, but it does show that people were concerned about it prior to like coming to the masses. One other big piece of news, Cable Mod's gonna make out well. So they had, this was already in the pipeline. This article from October 17th. There is a pre-order for this, but it's a 90-degree 16-pin connector. And this is probably going to be the fix that NVIDIA does for this. So, because it takes away the bending on that input slot, right? Instead of it, going in here like usual and coming out, it's just going to be a straight down slot. So this is going to be a perfect fix for it. So again, this guy isn't for sale yet. It's supposed to come out soon though, in the next couple of days. If you go on their website, I do believe they have like a email subscription thing so you can get informed when it does come out. But if you are interested, better hop on it because I'm sure this thing's going to sell out instantly. People are going to be worried about it, especially when you're spending $2,000 on a card. You want to protect that thing. This is one of the last things you want to hear about after you just drop 2K on this thing. Another company that jumped on it is AMD. Right after, so they put this article. This came out today. This is from WCCF Tech, and AMD won't be using these 16-pin connectors. I don't. It doesn't seem like they were planning on using it anyway, but they're just reiterating it, getting a little more hype, a little more attention for them. So good for them jumping on that. I also wanted to touch on resale prices. So I put up a YouTube short like right after the 4090 came out, telling you guys to wait because prices will come down. On that first initial day, they were reselling for like 28, 2600. They've already dropped significantly. One good website for referencing prices is StockX. Forgot to mention this in the other video I did the other day. But this is a good website, especially for newer cards. And even more specifically, cards that are being resold, right? Didn't really mention it because the resale market for GPUs is done. The activity has been minimal, nothing really going on there. But this kind of picked it up a little bit. It's good because you can see previous sales data, so you can see what the price trends are. Click on view sales, you can literally see every sell, what it sold for at that time. So it's another good way to find data. You could clearly see the downtrend, even from just a couple days ago, 2149, and it's at the $1,900 range already. So if we go back, you can see cheapest one is here. The Zotac, it's 1900. We have an MSI for 1920. And this is a good sign that they're already this low. To me, that's a good indicator that you're going to be finding them at MSRP fairly soon. Because at this point, at a $1,900 price point, these guys are barely making any profit. At this point, they're maybe making $100. Reason being is yes, they MSRP at 1,600, but you got to factor in the tax, which is going to be about 120 bucks. That brings you up to what, 1,720, and then like let's say 10% seller's fee. So that's going to bring you up to like over $1,800. Mainly because it just kind of depends on, like for StockX, for example, it's not a fixed fee. If you sell a lot, your seller fees are reduced. But regardless, at this point, at this price range, they're maybe making $100. So at that point, is they're just trying to liquidate whatever they got. They're just trying to get out at this point. So to me, that's a good indicator that we are going to find them at MSRP. But if you are worried about it, this is not the worst price in the world. If you're looking for it now, I mean, I think we're going to see better prices soon, but it's going down. I also wanted to touch real quick on scams. eBay. This was a big one back in the bull market, especially for GPUs, because the GPUs initially, during that whole time frame where it was hot, they were selling literally within a minute of being listed. So this was happening a lot. People would post these auctions up where it's just literally a picture of the video card. And they even put it in the description. Of course, it's going to be the last few words, though. People are just looking for, 4090. They say 1200, buy it now. Boom. They're buying it without even looking at it, right? And this one, the seller actually did put that it's card on paper, and it is seen on here. But again, if you're just like looking real quick and, you're in that hype mode where you're trying to get it now, people do buy them, unfortunately. When you go through the the seller's history or like the previous sales, you'll see that people are still buying them on accident. Chances are you're going to get your money back. You're going to have to fight for it, though, because it is clearly listed in the title. I'm sure it's going to be down here. Yes, on paper. So you're more than likely to get your money back, but you're going to have to argue with it. These guys doing this, though, it's horrible, horrible business practice. Come on, man. It's like, you're scamming them. You're not going to get that money. Why even waste your time? But just be aware, guys. There are scams. There's these scams. I'm sure there's tons of other scams, especially things like on Facebook Marketplace, things with meetups. You gotta really be careful, especially with something this expensive. One thing if it's a couple $100, all right, but when you're spending 2K, 2 grand on something, you want to be more careful. All right, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick little update on the 4090 and what was going on with it. Again, if you found some value in this video, please comment, like, subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I'm out.